Okay, so see that the first two bands is Naga on Lulu's side and the Tolkien on the Funky side. The Funky didn't lock immediately Loatel here, but starting with the Wolfie. And if I not misremember, I think these two have potentially fought already each other in this tournament, but anyway, maybe Lulu's having an idea what he want to do and overcoming this scary opponent, Funky. And as we see right now, as the first set here, we have Cernith standing next to a Bastion that will staring down to a Wolfie and a Banshee. So the Banshee quite feel like as it's kind of accepting this board here, can still do high damage both to Bastion and to Cernith here, especially if that Cernith is a Colossity. You can just bypass it and do high damage. However, Wolfies might feel like a little slightly uncomfortable depending what Lulu is going to be doing this turn. The second set of band will be Mimit on Funky's side and the Turok on the Lulu side. And we see once more the Earth Coils being brought in here. And that Earth Coils have been doing some value. Not only giving whip left and right, but also doing some necessary damage on his hats too. Neodymium being picked up next to it, Madrid, Valash, and Kino have been picked up from the Funkyhao side, and the Barnes have been picked as last for Lulu. And this is the first semifinal match between Lulu Roar and Funkyhao. Who will go to the final and who will go to the third place match?
Question I had for you is, do you think there is a match where Funky doesn't pick Valash? Because I always see him pick it, regardless of what the odds are looking like. He will always take that Funkyhao in the match. Also, predictions are up, guys. You guys can predict on who's gonna win this best of three. Go ahead and put your bids in.
Okay, so my take would be that since Valash have Sea Dust, you always kind of want to have some value out of that. So always bringing Valash in, having high speed and getting this dust off, you can get pretty far with that.
That is true, I would say.
That Kino did take the water lily fairly good, but that lava wave, no.
That is
That's
way
a
too
cooked
much
salad.
for it to handle. The late. That was absolute delation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then Madrid is gonna die as well, I guess, to water cutting Lily, to be honest. If it stays, at least. It can do damage to Bastion, but it's gonna take heavy damage as well.
I think that Madrid would have been. That Madrid definitely be the Deluge ready. Not only to have a control over Cernith, but also being ready to attacking the master in the next turn. Right. As it is right now, you can only do like Solid Steam, sure. You can still do Sea Spike. I mean, not Sea Spike, Sea Dust to just do some quick and early damage. But Madrid has no place on the board right now.
Decides to back out with Valash coming in.
And the water completely did not overexert, and I believe it's going to be another lava wave combo. And that Valash is dead.
So far, these double ends are roasting one time at a time. Funky is looking in a bad spot right now, unless he plans to pull a 3 versus 5 later on.
And once more, this Madrid doesn't have Deluge ready. But at the same time, this is a board where Budget definitely can stay. If now this Sun is designed to attack in this turn, that means it's going to be a heavily overexerted and high risk that this Sun dies this particular turn. And Mastion, even if Mastion is really bulky, can surviving a solid steam, it won't do anything more than that.
I mean, technically, Cernif can attack. It does, like, even if it dies, he did a job. It's like 3 times to kill. Cernif could have attacked and overexerted, but Luluch deciding to play it safe, keeping the Cernif alive.
Oh, the double up towards this Earth course where it got swapped in over Cernif, just making sure to try to kill it with Barnshee. Going to take this synergy combo from Mastion. Still having quite a good amount of HP still standing. However, it still took more than 41% HP. And an overexerted Mastion, which means it's a slightly okay board right now for Funky.
I'm seeing if there are any possible swaps they could pull out right now, but I mean, Funky doesn't have much options. He can bring in the Wolfie if he really wants to, but he's still chilling. Luluch is playing with what he has in the back, switching out in and out stuff here and there, trying to play around.
And we having a couple of rested here, and that Crystal Deluge just making sure that this snake can't do anything this particular turn. I think that were meant to stop Earthquake to do anything this turn, but I mean it still works that you actually putting the snake to sleep, which means only Master can do something this turn, and I don't think Master want to do anything this turn.
Yeah, Mastion is chilling right now because he's out of stamina as well if he decides to do attack.
Oh, he's gonna go full speed with Master, try to do as high damage as possible, and it's almost taking care of the Devil Fox. And that's a high overexertion, but that Mason has still done a lot of work.
Well, this match might not quite be done yet, to be honest. We are still in the race. That Cernif is gonna play a big role in this match later on, I guess, to kill that Mudred. I believe, at least.
That is true, but at this point right now, Martin is out of stamina, Wolfie is almost dead, and this, I believe in this Barnshee might actually be faster than that Wolfie. Wolf is leaving, letting actually a Bunches come in, potentially taking a hit just to make sure that Wolfie stays alive for another turn. Strange Rest removing roughly like 14-16%, and that Stone Ball killed Madrid. And Funk is getting lower and lower with attempts to swapping around with, and Funk is tapping out and realizing there's no way for me to come back, and Lul is taking the first game.
Here we are, match number 2 for the Legacy Cup semi-finals. Number 1. Luluch is looking quite strong, but what did Funky pick up from the last match? Did he take any people notes, and he might be implementing that in this match and adapt to the situation that came last time? Let us see what the first ban is looking like for Funky.
So Funky is still banning Naga, and I mean, looking over what Funky have, I don't see any of the attempts that is like slow enough to still be a threat towards Naga. And Wolfie been removed.
Well,
And
Water and Mimit can come in, which means... Oh boy, that looks rough. Okay, he did not take that combo in. I wonder what kind of answer did Luluch have for that Water Mimit starter, to be honest.
I don't think there's a lot of... Okay, so depending on how fast actually the Cernif is, and since we saw how you can actually one-shotting any Tem on the board, you kind of have to go as high as fast as possible to just removing as much HP as possible on the Tem that he's believing is going to be taking a further cage.
This is really surprising because Double Tulkin against Inky might actually work with Fury Soul because Electro Punch does not have the prio right now and it's not gonna get that either.
Does Inky actually run with E-Punch?
Sorry, Inky had another electric attack, right, for turn 1. What was it called? Sparkle or something like that?
I mean, I believe it has a Sparkling Bullet, but I'm a little bit
unsure. Oh, the Sparkling Bullet, yes, that's the one. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. Sparkling Bullet is the move.
So we see the same ban from Funky sides on towards Lolo's Thames here. Well, it's slightly different from Lolo on Funky's Thames setup, but we still see that Valash, as you were pointing out earlier, that it's still coming in, and no matter what is on the board from Lolo's side.
Yeah. I don't know if it is some kind of a condition that he has set for himself that he has to bring it in, or what is it exactly, but it is always there. I have noticed it.
Ooh, with the whip landing on to this ingot. Sure, it maybe won't outspeed either of these token, but if it does, anything gets some value out of it, that would be good. But best case scenario would be you actually killing one of the birds.
The real question is Inky fast enough or not?
That is such a good question here, and by looking at the base speed, it could be potential, but we see that it's been swapped out and letting actually Master taking the double Fury Soul towards it, and a water cannon might will happen here. Oh, Stone Ball landing directly on towards the Mimit. Still doing quite a lot of damage here.
That's a good chunk. But do you think Water Cannon would have done more? Probably not, I guess, because it's special attack and this is physical attack, and that fish has physical attack. But, Monka,
I mean, okay, so if... I don't think Lu have any that gives poison tick, but... I think that it's pretty even, that it's either Stone Ball or Water Cannon. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure Stone Ball was for the swaps, because Valash and Madrid both are weak to Stone Ball as well.
And Funky had no thought of replacing either of the toll counts, just staying in and taking everything, and the Water Cannon is enough to taking out the Mimit.
I mean, I can only see a Madrid coming in probably, or... Yeah, it's most likely Madrid coming in because of the high speed.
And you are correct on that point. And Earthquake is dead this turn, and so is Master. But if Matches can pull out at least one more move, that would be good, but the Madrid is way too fast and immediately eliminating Bastion and the Earthquakes have been like slapped into the oblivion with that wind burst.
Well, this usually goes into the section where you say this is how you do not cage. Like, at least if you cage, you don't kill other person's stem on the same turn, because if you do, then well, they're gonna bring in something and you're gonna be stuck in there. They have the choice for the revenge kill, and that's exactly what happened there. That cage was really a wrong timing, I would say.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong on that position. Funky taking Mudge out for a little bit and letting the Lash come in, getting some potential value out of the token. Oh, a bamboozle barn shit that saved Cerny from that fire tornado.
And overexerted the Tulkin.
Oh, he did as well? Oh, that's even better for Lulu.
I guess that bamboozle pays up for the cage. We are even now. He has to start working his way back up on this match.
Okay, so the last leaving, letting Keenan come in, leaving a proc over to Tolkien, just making sure it can start to do some damage here, and getting access speed buff as well, so that means it's slightly fast now. And Inkit, what can Inkit do this turn?
Almost next to no damage. Well, Inky can do some decent damage there on the Tulkin.
Yeah, you're correct on that point. However, I'm believing that he had the equipment to arresting anyone who's trying to get past him. Margit's taking that T-strike without any issues, and the beta burst do actually a decent chunk of damage towards Saudi.
Madrid actually had snare on him. Quite surprised.
That means the fake beard have been removed from Inkit.
Yes, that is correct.
What is Inkit going to do actually on this turn? Sure, it has crystal move and it can definitely attacking towards Kino.
I mean, Inky has P-jab or uppercut, right? Or am I just dreaming? In general, I mean. Okay, never mind, it does quartz dust.
And almost enough to taking out Barnchi here. But Barnchi can do actually one more turn of high damage. But I believe we might see a Tolkien come in here just to making sure that C dust is actually faster. But it seems like it's still faster anyway.
But it was a nice call to play it a little bit.
And it looks like at least that Luluch
is on a rough spot.
Is it indeed in a rough position, and Funky seems to tie up this match. Oh, the bright beam. The bright beam action here, just making sure it can stay up for a turn. But we're still having an issue. That's our is asleep. But that DC beam action is waking it up, and Majid were taking a short rest, and boom! That Madrid is no longer standing. But I think at this position, I don't think Lulu have anything that can out damage these, especially the last cam in the back line, that hold cam, which is being brought in now. Definitely going to be eliminating whatever is still standing on the board here. Killing Sarnif and getting that scab rock, making it feel a bit more comfortable here on the board, but Quartz Shield still doing a lot of damage here, and the DC Beam almost killing Tolkien. Not quite enough.
Oh, Fury Soul does 93%. Think Valash can clean it up with just a spike.
Alright, so let's see what can actually Lou do differently here, and what can Funk do to keep its pace going strong here. Will we see like the same sort of bans here from Lulu? Wolfie have been consistently being a #1 band, or second band. And Naga, without any questions for Funky, will always be the #1 ban. And Lulu deciding immediately starting with Earthquake here. And we have seen what Earthquake can do, both supporting way, but also as an aggressive 10. Tolkien will be the answer to try to do a chunk of decent damage here, while Barge is going to be there as a support. Well, not really as a support, but trying to help out with the damage if Funk is trying to get rid of the Earthquake immediately. As Luluch started to thinking and wondering what's gonna be the next starting time here, and I mean, Sarnif is an option, so you can getting that early water little damage. You can go back to another Masteron combo just to getting another lava wave synergy as well, do high damage. But we see that Inket have been picked instead. The True Rock been banned on the Lulu's side, and the Mimit have been banned on Funky's side. Sarnif, Masteron, Barnship been picked up for Lulu, and I missed what Funky picked up here. I believe it was Lulash, Madrid, and Kino. And I got the Inspector bug here, so I'm gonna have to quickly restart my game and be back in as quick as possible. Don't we all just liking this type of bugs and making this game so fantastic to play as well? And I have entered back into the game, and I missed turn 1 here, but I do see that Madrid have received the +1/+1 with 1 speed here, but it's down to 10% HP, while Poish and Inket haven't lost any HP, just losing a couple of stamina, and Inket have receiving 1+ speed as well, and it looks like Funky have been taking the rough path here, losing too much stamina on Madrid, and any poke right now will definitely be enough to killing the Madrid. Sure, Madrid can quickly eliminating Inkit, or have to be swapped up because of that Corgi just standing up there. But you see that Ink is leaving the board here and letting Cernith come back in here, and the Earth Coins as well, letting that Barge is coming in here, so a double swap, which means he's not going to be attacking this turn. And the Crystal Luluch, that was expecting to happen. The Barge doesn't like it, but it doesn't get sleep due to being part of Manifold. Even with Rock Shield, it's 40, putting it down to 41.5% HP, and that's still a lot. Cernith being brought to sleep, which means that this Cernith can't do anything this particular turn. Have to wait until the next turn, or if someone's poking at him, that he cannot actually attack in this turn. So what can they do this turn here? So Madrid have already used the Deluge here on Barge, and Barge will survive that. It can go off with a she does just to making sure to kill Barge here, but it's deciding to letting the last coming in, probably taking a hit. Kino's leaving as well, that means there will be no damage dealing from Funky. Tolkien's being brought in here. Lola also swapping out Barge here, letting Mansions come in there instead, expecting some high damage might coming in from a weakness they haven't been able to cover up, and having Mansions definitely covering up some of the areas. And nothing really happened this particular turn. It was like everybody were resting.
Alright, back, I'm sorry.
Welcome back.
I didn't miss much of the match, I see, because not everything is looking low HP yet.
No, you haven't missed too much. We see the strategy broken with the mask down and putting it down to 41%. That way is doing work and damage.
I think if it was not the Strange West Banshee, it might have died, to be honest. I think
so also. So from this position, who's having the edge? It looks like Lulu might having the better edge here, but Funky doesn't feel too far off to actually still coming back and be able to
take it back.
Win.
The HPs are indicative. There was a match where Funky was almost 2 versus 4 and he still pulled it back out. So we can't be judging them so quickly, but looks like Luluch does have some kind of a small edge right now, you can say. But we don't know what Funky is planning on his back seat of his brain yet.
Yeah, that brain is going so fast, not even ourselves we can recognize it. I don't think this tornado is enough to killing the Banshee. No. And not even with a double up. And that's gonna be really rough for Funky, knowing not being able to killing that Banshee. Sucks, but I think you would have gotten more value if you decided to go for Fire Soul instead of going with Wind Burst.
Or beta burst from Banshee instead of tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Either one I think could have gotten the job done.
Now is the question: can actually Funky do a pullback here? I mean, anything is still possible in the long run, but Madrid have lost, and Valash itself have lost the synergy for getting a fast Crystal Dust. But still having the prior free still helps a lot if you want to try to eliminate something really quickly, but it doesn't look super good for Funky at this position.
That is true. Also, now I see why he did that. He needed the 3 priors to go off and getting that Banshee to get to attack at least. Beta burst would not have been done. Emanip maybe would have worked, but then Emanip would have almost done the same as Tornado. I think maybe a little bit. I don't. Yeah, should be the same. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're both taking the time to think.
They are indeed taking their time to think here, but I thinking still Lulu have pretty much it can just go pretty much straight forward and just attacking on one of the slots and just making sure that you almost guarantee any kill.
Earthquake has been working really well for Luluch, to be honest.
It have really paid off for Lulu.
Well, the problem now is that Madrid has Crystal Deluge up and ready to go. Does it have the synergy? Yes, it does. The Kino is ready to come in as well if required.
Uh-huh. Okay, so Tolkien could come into this board and just do Sea Dust, but what on which time would you try to do? Both Master and the core just taking half 2 or half 4 damage. As Funkyhao retreating his own Funkyhao, letting Kino coming in, boosting up the coins, just making sure it's faster than anything on the board, and just try to finish off here.
I'm actually surprised it did not Crystal Deluge.
Yeah, you do have a point there.
Well, time and time again, that that Earth Coach is reminding us the value it brings to the table right now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's really looking good on that Tulkin as well, because he can do the water attack, he can do the earth attack. He is looking solid still, intact on his place.
Oh, that soul eliminated that Sarnif so quickly. And the Hypno being faster than the Earth Coils, because Earth Coils most likely were doing a stone ball or potentially a water cannon, which means, yeah, we know what that means. Taking the were faster, so it could sleep without any issues.
That was really big tempo swing, you can call it, for Funky, because Luluch was staying up on the edge for quite a bit there, but Funky finally had a turn where he could finally turn the tides of the battle a little bit. And now, how much damage the Fury Soul does on this Mephisto might even decide some stuff going forward. Or you can just swap the toolkit out, play it safe, and bring the Funkyhao in. Maybe Stonewall, maybe Beta Burst, the Funky.
Mm-hmm. Right now it's pretty even, I'm gonna say. I don't see who would actually have the more upper hand in this match. It is pretty even all over the board. And Funky deciding to taking the token out, letting the Lash come in and fight instead. And the Bright Beam putting Kino down to 88% with the extra damage. What? How will Luluch overcoming this and feeling comfortable to taking this third and last match against this Funky?
He's definitely feeling pressured, I feel like it.
Oh, and the quad start actually being able to eliminating that Kino, but we know it as before, that Kino is super fragile. But that Stone Ball eliminating how immediately. Can Funky defeating all of the Tens with only one token?
It's gonna be rough, but not impossible. But I think it might be really rough. Earthquake is going pretty hot. I mean, Luluch is raising the stonk prices of that thing for sure. Mephisto just one-shots that toolkit out, sending Funky back home. This Luluch is gonna go up more ahead, bringing that Earthquake to glory.